We have two presenters for our next presentation. Sylvana Joseph, who is a screenwriter, a travel writer, and co-founder of JW Productions, which is an artist management group. She writes for a variety of diverse menus, including legal articles on things like arbitration, as well as NPR, where she's a frequent commentator, and also on Lifetime television. And the second presenter in this group is Jay Sandom. Jay is the author of 9 novels, as well as numerous articles on a broad range of topics. I love this, from digital marketing to fly fishing for bonefish on the Yukon. I'd like to talk to you about that one. He's also considered an internet pioneer, having established the first national digital ad agency in the United States back in '97. The podium is yours.
So let's explain, first of all, the lab coats. We are not architects. We're not urban designers. We're feeling a little insecure. So this morning we rushed out and got lab coats because, as you know, once you put a lab coat on, you have to listen to us.
Natural authority. Pay attention. Pay attention now.
All right. So my name is Sylvana Joseph, as you heard. This is my writing partner, J.G. Sandom, and we're here with the Gramma Sutra. We want to thank Matthias for inviting us, even though we think we are the comic relief in this conference, but that's okay.
One can only hope.
Exactly. Jay and I are here to discuss something that is central to all of our lives, in fact, to our very existence. We're here to talk about...
Well, before we actually get into that, I'd just like to make this a little bit interactive.
Just started.
I know we just started. First of all, how many of you out there are sexually active today? Raise your hands.
Get them up. Get them up.
All right. Oh, don't be shy. Just your hands, please. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Well, that's that's not bad.
This is a reindeer crowd than I thought. Okay. All right. So I'm assuming by the show of hands here that you've been enjoying sex, at least, for years, perhaps even decades, for some of you. Let's face it, sex is core to the human existence. It is central to our very being as human beings, and it is important as we age. Now, you might not assume that sex is important to an aging culture by our obsession with youth.
But did you know?
Due to the burgeoning ranks of baby boomers and advances in healthcare and medicine, more seniors tonight, people, are having sex than teens, 20s, and 30-somethings. Didn't know that, did you? That's right, and that's not all. Here are some more statistics. As you can see, our aging population is exploding. More than 10,000 people turn 50 in this country each day. We have more than 80 million baby boomers in the United States. There are more than 150 million baby boomers in Europe, and China, God bless them, have more than 300 million baby boomers. So we're aging and we're having sex.
When you combine all those together, the size of the 50-plus segment actually jumps to around 1/3 of the U.S. population.
More than 110 million people in the United States having sex.
And as you heard just a moment ago, or looking for love.
As you can see, aging women are more affluent than ever before.
And of course, affluence, as we heard yesterday in the breakout session, breeds choice, right? Where you live, how you want to live, etc., as we age.
Getting back to sex, what you came here to talk about, we always bring it back to sex, just understand that. 50-plus American women are the healthiest, wealthiest, and most active generation of women in history. And that means they are sexually active as well.
So it's not your stereotypical older woman from previous generations.
Hi, Betty. And it's not your cliched oversexed grandma either. This is a whole new generation of older Americans. These women are older and healthy. They're really like, I don't know, would you say superheroes?
Yeah, they're like superheroes, exactly right.
Like superheroes.
Wealthier, wiser, one would hope as well.
Than ever before.
Yeah, I know, it's that Nigella, I just can't, every time. But, it's not just the women, of course. Let's not forget the men.
Let's not forget the men. Look at these two. Clint Eastwood, Sean Connery, in their 80s, still very handsome, but Men are always handsome in a tuxedo. Isn't that right, ladies? All men are handsome in a tuxedo.
And, yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm not a superhero, but, you know, almost. Right, wouldn't you say? Almost? Maybe not. Okay.
Okay.
So, here they all are, but, you know, unfortunately, the image that we all hold in our head is not exactly correlating with this. More than 85% of seniors are getting busy at least once a week. Did you know, and I find this particularly pleasing, that men in their 50s are more satisfied with their sex lives, according to statistics, than men in their 30s and 40s. Sorry about that, you youngsters.
Aren't you in your 50s?
Of course. Something along those lines. And as long as they stay alive, that's important.
Healthy and alive. We found that the true key to having a great sex life is being alive to enjoy it.
It's a technicality. Yeah.
Right. Interestingly enough, the very definition of sex changes as we get older. We become broader in our scope of what we think is sexual. We become more inclusive. So sex is not just the wham-bam intercourse, ma'am. It's hand-holding. It's masturbation. It's kissing. It's foreplay. Do you remember foreplay?
Yes, I remember foreplay. Thank you very much. And this, again, is a worldwide phenomenon. In Denmark, for example, from whence my ancestors hail.
Jay, they warned us about nudity. The woman's topless.
Oh, that's sorry about that, Matthias. I'll cover that up there.
Okay.
There you go. Okay.
Nice. All right, so you're focusing on porn in your segment on Denmark?
Of course.
Right.
I think this is worth reading aloud. Caregivers in Copenhagen have found that pornography and prostitutes have a greater calming effect on their elderly patients than traditional medical treatments, such as drug therapy. You gotta love that, right? Sex, better than drugs.
Let's get a hand for that. Let's get a hand for that. That's right.
Of course, sex with drugs, not a bad thing also.
Let's get a hand for that, too. So,
the staff at the Thorvgarden nursing home in Copenhagen has been broadcasting pornography on their AV system every Saturday night for about a decade. Or you can ask for a magazine or a video. Or you can actually request that they usher up a prostitute for a couple of hours. This is it's a progressive country like Denmark, so you're able to do that. It's legal.
You want to talk about that takeout menu?
Yeah.
Now, across the world, we have my favorite, Mr. Shigeo Tokuda, at 77, the world's oldest porn star.
And you might recall that from that earlier slide that actually Japan has proportionally more seniors than any other nation, about 30% of the population now, and it's aging also. So no wonder they gave birth to this new cultural pornographic icon.
That's right. Mr. Tokuda has a theory as to why elder porn is very popular in Japan. He says, people of my age generally have shame, so they are very hesitant to show their private parts. But I am proud of myself for doing something they cannot. That doesn't mean I can tell them about my old age pensioner job, though, he says with a laugh. Apparently, he can't tell his wife either because he claims that his wife knows nothing about his professional movie career. Nothing.
Except by extension, I suppose.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I don't believe that. I think it's Tokudo, but we should ask Emmy. I'm not sure how to pronounce
don't know,
it. I would say it's Tokudo.
And I think it's Tokudo.
So, while our media, on the other hand, what we see in TV and films and magazines and what have you, continues to promote a youth culture, these stereotypical images of women are just, let's face it, they're just not real. This is the reality.
Oh, come on. This is not the reality I want to talk about. This is the reality that I want to talk about. What was once the province of wealthy, mostly white men visiting certain parts of Asia and Latin America, sex tourism is increasingly becoming an equal opportunity travel pastime. In fact, 1 in 5 affluent older women visiting this part of Kenya are there for one reason and one reason only: the sex. So y'all can keep your Miami Beach. I think I'm booking a trip to Mombasa.
Yeah. Okay. Of course, even in highly managed retirement communities like the Villages near Orlando, Florida, Viagra-inspired adventures can get kind of out of hand, as you can read here. Yes, STDs rampant at the villages.
We've learned that this is a fairly common scenario. In fact, unfortunately, nearly 1/4 of all people living with HIV/AIDS in this country are people over the age of 50. This is especially daunting for women because as women age, they forego the use of condoms, and that leads to STDs. Some retirement communities, such as the villages, have an unusual kind of nighttime activity going on. Once the lights are out, people start moving from room to room. It's like college all over again.
So you have to make sure you pay attention to those subtle signs out there. If there's a sock on the door.
Or a Crestor prescription.
Yeah, right. Don't come a knocking when grandma's a
grandma's
rocking.
a rocking.
Okay.
That's right. So we'd like to leave you with 5 insights for you to think about when architecting the environments of our aging future. The first one is being healthy. Being healthy in a very general way is the best thing you can do to ensure your sexual health as you age. If you continue to keep healthy and fit, I mean, we just have Werner as an example, there is no reason.
We need to add him to that, you know, that Sean
Yeah,
Connery.
we do.
Do
you think he'd wear a tux?
I don't know. I
Okay.
think so. Yeah.
Well, there's no
we
reason,
nice.
if you keep healthy and fit, that you cannot enjoy your sex life increasingly as you age.
Another key component, I think, that we have to look at is privacy. It's hard to have sex without privacy, unless, of course, that's your thing. And in fact, there was a study in the UK not that long ago, reported in the Observer, that says 17% of people aged 85 and older in British nursing homes report that they'd like to have sex, but they can't because they don't have the privacy.
Mobility. Whether it's designing an urban landscape or transportation systems to move people around a city, or designing buildings and moving people of age with ease within those buildings, facilitating the mobility of seniors is key to ensuring their continued sexual health.
And community. We heard a lot about that in the breakout session yesterday, especially community is very important. A lot of folks are obviously living into their centenarians, but many of them, in fact, most of them are not in couples anymore. They've lost their partner, either divorced or widowed or what have you. So it's important that we develop strong social networks, connections to families and friends. And we've seen in many different studies that the happier you are as you age with these strong social networks. And also you live longer if you have those strong networks. And lastly, especially since we're talking about this huge, you know, the goat in the python, that huge bump of the baby boomer generation, one very important baby boomer characteristic is that they're used to being in control. They're all, you know, they were successful professionals, lawyers, doctors, architects, designers, what have you, raised their families, so they're used to being in control and managing their futures. So whatever you do, you need to make sure that you bring them into the process, and they want to feel an active part of the solution, that they're actually contributing. That's key.
Contribution is key in life as well as in sex, actually.
That's true.
Yeah. In the end, I think it's probably best for y'all to think about this way. For whom do you design? Who is that 60, 70, 80-plus-year-old who is still sexually active, still living a very vibrant life, and still able to live decades more due to changes in lifestyle and medication? Well,
we know who that is.
It's you.
It's you guys.
It's you. All right? Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
One more thing. We have such fun with the sex that we have handouts and freebies. So if you just see us afterwards, either one of us in the robes will give you a little something to help you out there.
Well, they've got my vote so far. Let's hear another round of applause.